Well, good morning, everybody. It's time to get started with our Daily Coug Connect. It's a gorgeous day, at least here in Pullman. I see a couple folks that I know that are not Pullman based. We've got Julia over in Vancouver and see a couple other names that I think are also non-Pullman based. So welcome everyone. Man, what a gorgeous day outside. This is the kind of thing that we look forward to after some of the weather we've been having. Hope everybody's staying safe and healthy and all is good where you are. Today, we're going to do a couple things with the title of Keep Learning, Keep Growing. Those of you that have tuned into past Daily Coug Connects know that I've talked a little bit about some of these topics. So I'm going to review a couple things real quick and tie it into maybe some other thoughts to keep in mind as you go forward in your personal development here at WSU. So without further ado, let's go ahead and we'll get going here. So one of the things that I talked about early on, matter of fact, we have had 34, 38, I think, Daily Coug Connects, and this one was from the very first one. We did the whole idea of what's my general approach to growing, learning, developing, and what's my belief system around that. Rarely is anybody totally in growth mindset or totally in fixed mindset, but we have to challenge ourselves daily to kind of check that attitude and approach to new circumstances that come our way and challenge us. And am I adopting a growth mindset? And then the next one that I did somewhat related to this was how we grow our patterns and how the brain kind of operates. So a little bit about neuroplasticity, that the brain truly can learn new pathways. It can rewire the old ones. All those old patterns and thoughts and habits and learnings that we've had don't necessarily go away, but they kind of fade out a little bit as we grow new patterns, and we hopefully make those more dominant patterns based on our current circumstances and where we are with life. And as part of that, talked about acquiring new information. So we're going to talk about building new patterns today and just a little bit. So be ready to hop on chat line if you have some thoughts around this and some input. We'd love to hear what you may have to say about these things. So looking around, what are some of the opportunities that I can do as a person, that you can do as a person to keep growing, keep learning new things, especially with all of us working remotely so much of the time. Maybe there's new opportunities for me to develop these new patterns that are going to be probably ongoing into the future. Even when we start to return to work, these are going to be patterns that will be useful for us as we go back into the workforce here in the office and continually learning to use technology to help us acquire new information and so forth. So one of the things that I find interesting is one way we build new knowledge and self-development is through networking and or acquiring a mentor. So networking, the old definition of it kind of meant I was going to meet people and talk with them and interact and maybe in larger groups and settings. Right now, that's just not a reality. So think about creative ways and how can I reach out to people, meet new people, or maybe reacquaint with people from my past, make new connections. How can I find people that I can interact with, discuss ideas with, and continue my growth. Along with mentoring, it doesn't have to be formal. Now, I believe I saw Jade Wilhelm is on our group today, and Jade, I've been fortunate enough to work a little bit in supporting Jade's efforts to get a tentative trial basis on a formal mentoring program here at WSU. But there's also informal networking and mentoring. Who's a person in your life, and there may be more than one, that you can touch base with and say, I really admire how well you do such and such, or your knowledge base in a particular topic. I'd really like to learn more from you about that. Would you be okay if I touch base with you every couple of weeks or so and have a 15-minute discussion about that? That's just an example, but that would be an informal mentoring where you're just approaching another person, let them know what information area you're trying to grow and develop in. and just see if they'd be willing to do that. A lot of great talented people here with Washington State University that we can reach out to, but it doesn't have to be limited to that, right? We can also look outside of just WSU and find others that we can learn and grow from. Another one is just knowledge sharing. So interacting, maybe set up once every other week, 10-minute get together with your coworkers and just say, hey, let's just sit down. What have we learned over the last week or two that's helping us get through all of this COVID stuff? What are some new awarenesses you have? What's a new technology or new software that you're working with? Any type of that interaction with our peers and our coworkers where we can just share information and get it out on the table. You never know. Oh, thank you, Jade. I see Jade put out on the chat line that she's got the link to the mentoring program, or at least the pilot information. And then have you ever thought about being a teacher yourself? Hey, we need some presenters for Daily Coug Connect. If you've got a topic, you've seen some of the ones that we've had here, we'd really love to have you get in touch with me. We can talk about what does it look like to present on Daily Coug Connect. Maybe you've got a topic on gardening or any number of things that we've seen here, right, on all the various topics that have been on Daily Coug Connect. So teaching others, sharing the information you have. I have found that, you know, it's in my brain, I'm doing a certain software or working on something, I've got certain skill sets, but when I start talking to others about how to do it, I find that it helps me in my further understanding of that knowledge area or skill base, because when you try to explain it to others, it really helps lock it in. Plus it helps you explore some things when they ask some great questions of you. So teaching others might be another one. Classroom training. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a little bit. So obviously right now we're not live and in person doing classes, but we certainly are doing virtual classes, and that will be much more robust coming up as we start fleshing out the schedule that we offer through learning and organizational development for later in the summer and into the fall. So classroom-based training, but it also, once again, doesn't have to be Washington State University based. Where are some other areas that you can get that classroom stuff? More and more, those classroom trainings are taking place with virtual training. Maybe like me, you've gone out and been on webinars and learning formats that are delivered via the web. Great information that's out there. I always like, and I'm sure most of you are aware of TED Talks, any number of topics, great speakers and presenters in that arena as well. One thing that I think we take for learning is just our exploration of space. Today, many of you may be aware, for the first time in over a decade, we're having a launch from Cape Canaveral or Kennedy Space Center down in Florida. And we're going to be able to watch that live streaming in any number of locations. So any number of places where we can learn, watch, and grow ourselves. And then there's always self-study, and I'm definitely going to talk about that in just a little bit as well as we go forward. Another way we can do it, if you've missed any of the Daily Coug Connects, as I mentioned as we started out, we've had almost 38 of those. I believe 34 have been recorded. We missed on a couple. There was either a bad connection or someone, yours truly, forgot to hit the record button on the very first one. But that was a learning, and you know, just got to learn and push past those. But those are all out there and available on our website. And I'm going to go to the website in just a little bit to show you a couple of the things too. So the Daily Coug Connects, you can revisit those if you want to see one that you've already seen and would like to kind of dig back into that information, or if you've not seen some of them, great ones to go back and visit. And then, as I've been alluding to, our website, the Learning and Organizational Development page, I'm sure many of you have been into Skillsoft, poked around and registered for courses, found out information there. It's a wealth of information. We've got over 2,500 courses that are online and over 30,000 books and articles and publications that are there. So I think there's a lot of information that we can all look at. I'm going to quickly bring up how we get there. Just a quick review, because as I mentioned, most of you have probably seen this before. I hope you're seeing that. Somebody jump on chat and make sure that you're seeing the website for human resources on screen. Yep, okay, great, thank you, JS. And so to get to your training, most of you know, get to human resources if you care to, then click on the training button down here. And once you get on that page, you're now on the learning and organizational development page. Got some quick links going down the left side. Here's where we log into our Skillsoft. Further down, we highlight certain things that are going on. There's more on Daily Coup Connect, the Employee Assistance Program events and webinars. We've listed quite a few of them out there. If you have not been to those, they do a great job. One of the ones we sponsored and held April 29th, we've got that recorded and available at the link that you see here. So there's quite a bit of information just right there. But real quickly, I want to make sure that everybody's aware of once you're into your online account. So I'd already signed in, so it's taking me directly into mine. You go in here, and most of us are typically either searching for something up in the search box up here, or we click on one of the highlighted featured content pieces. Now these, the pandemic slowing the spread and the disinfecting the workplace, those are relatively new. If you have not seen those yet, highly recommend them. Those are being looked at seriously by our EH&S folks, environmental health and safety people, on getting this out to all employees as a part of return to work. That's not official yet, but these are out there and available. I would highly recommend looking at those courses. The pandemic one was recently updated and reloaded yesterday, so that is current information. So just know that that's there. But right now, what I want to do is get you out to the library. So back up here where we do our searches, you also have this button called the library. And when I click on that, it gives me a drop-down panel. This is WSU information over here. So you're certainly welcome to peruse through that information. But there's also a lot of different things right underneath here, the Skillsoft library. The well-being one, there's some books and other pieces of information out there that I think are real good. Business skills, number of areas that you can dive into, and there's a lot of courses there. A little further over, the online course library, 30-minute course where I'm going to go into that real quickly, but once again, you can see business skills and some other areas highlighted. Real quickly, going to just click on the 30-minute courseware. And when you get here, you're just going to have courses and resources. So courses, literally, you're going to see topical areas as you scroll down, and you can launch those whenever you feel like it. Get back into them if you have to break out early, that type of thing. Resources, when you click on that, job aid is simply typically a one-pager type of thing, tips for working with difficult people. Demonstrating trust, communicating to influence, all types of different topical areas that you can go into. So I just wanted to let you know that those are out there. I'll just click real quickly on the building blocks of building trust. So here it says it's a 29-minute course. It's got the table of contents, and you don't have to go in order. You can click around. You can see what the duration is. Hey, maybe you've only got a quick 3 minutes. Pop in there, recognizing trust factors. Have your cup of coffee while you're looking through one of these. And once again, you can always restart where you left off to complete those out. So that's the main thing I wanted to share with you, is make sure everybody's aware of quick navigation tips on Skillsoft and how to do those types of things. And I'm going to get back over here to our PowerPoint and just start heading towards finishing out on my topic today. And just remember, as we look at all of those different patterns and thoughts and forming those new patterns, repetition helps. It all starts up here with those brain cells and firing off the synapses and growing those patterns. So the more you hear it, the more you talk about it, the more you do something, the more those patterns engage and develop and become a stronger pattern for you. So that just wanted to make sure that we refreshed on some of the things that we've talked about in the past. So repetition helps. Try to tie a positive emotion into it. Find those wins that you've had. Recognize that mistakes are just opportunities to grow and keep moving forward. And just have that expectation that you're going to keep growing, keep getting better as we go forward. So that's my general talk for today. Wanted to present this information just as another partial refresh, as well as add another layer to it where you can find information in topical areas. Don't forget about the networking, the mentoring, and a variety of ways in which we all can learn and grow. So thank you for joining us today. As the screen is showing right now, tomorrow we've got Joanne Green with another chair yoga. I enjoy those. I find that I need to get doing those more and more as the body ages. So look forward to seeing Joanne share tomorrow. Once again, shout out real quick to any of you that might be interested in presenting. Just email me. You can see my name on the screen there, Don Reed. I think on email it's donald.reed, and make sure you spell it just like you read the book, R-E-A-D, @wsu.edu. If you have a topic you'd like to talk about, hey, is this something I can present on Daily Could Connect? Let me know and we'll get you on the June schedule. Thanks a lot, everybody.